started. I'm sure the last few folks will wander in a moment. So we're actually really lucky to have some really big, some big names in the digital world here today. We have heard from Apple earlier, and we have, I'm pleased to introduce now Matthew Heller, who's the head of channel sales for Southeast Asia and India for Google, and he's going to share some thoughts on sort of how this age of assistance is impacting search, which I think is a very a rich and fascinating topic, so we're really looking forward to hearing from Matthew. Come on up, and please welcome Matthew Heller.
Thanks, Charles. Is that okay, the mic? All right, good. Thanks for having me. Nice to see some friends in the audience. Great excuse to come to Siam Reap, too. I'm amazed anyone is here, actually, considering these temples that are out here. Have people gone yet, temples? All right, so good. I wish I could say that I came to see the temples as well, but I actually came specifically to talk with Ozma and the group. So thank you very much for the invitation. I really appreciate it. I think the work that Ozma does is important. Local search has been very good to Google. So having an organization that advocates for it, the knowledge in this room, it's a tremendous resource. So I'm really glad to be here today. We're grateful at Google for the work that you do. The newsletter, by the way, who puts that together? It's awesome. If you read that every day, the quality of the articles in there and the selection, you know more than most of my colleagues do in the office. And I send out a lot of stuff from that, so it's really first rate. So anyway, so it's good to be here today. Again, my name is Matt Heller. I'm the head of channel sales for Google in Southeast Asia and India. I've been working in the region here for the last 10 years. I've lived in Indonesia. I've lived in Vietnam. I currently live in Singapore now with my family. Siam Reap is one of my favorite places to come. I've never had an excuse to go for work, so I learned a few things today already. I got off the plane, and I did a hangout meeting, like between customs and, kind of between passport control and customs. I was able, I couldn't believe the connectivity was there. I think we're seeing that around the world. That was pretty remarkable. I wasn't expecting that. I also noticed there's still no 7-Elevens. Pre-7-Eleven is a big deal. There are not many places you can go in the world that don't have 7-Elevens. So that was remarkable. I noticed that Google Maps worked. Coming here, it not only told me, first of all, I was sitting in traffic, which was also notable. I didn't know you could be in traffic in Siam Reap. And I was in a tuk-tuk, which was pretty cool. And Google Maps was telling me I was 5 minutes away. I don't think there was real-time traffic. But I was still impressed that so pre-7-Eleven, maps working, good connectivity, and I wanted to learn some things from you, so I'm looking forward to spending time with you this evening. The dinner sounds terrific, and I'll be around tomorrow as well. So if I can go away and learn some things, that would be terrific, and I want to thank Ozma for the work you do around the world, and particularly here in Asia Pacific, to advocate for local search. So let's see if this works. Okay. So the world is changing a lot. Google's mission is still the same. We are here to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Kind of from the inside, I've only been at Google 6 years. The mission is more relevant than ever. And I think the organization is actually in a much better place now. If you look, whether it's from a technology or resource or people, I think we're actually in a much better position around the mission than we've been, and it's encouraging. So before we get into assistance, home, search, all these things, I did want to go back. Remember 1998? This was where it all started, right? So I don't remember Google search, but you'd look it up, the little blue links, the websites. And I think what's important to remember here is at the time, which really wasn't that long ago, but it was pretty amazing. It was magic. that you could do this. And people were excited, and we're organizing the world's information and all the knowledge. But it took me a few years to actually realize, well, wait a second, this is not all the world's knowledge. This is all of the world's web pages, which is pretty cool. And especially if looking at how much information people were putting on the web, but it certainly wasn't all the world's knowledge. So I think it was terrific then, but again, the company's progressing on our mission. Come a long way since 1998. So these products each have over 1 billion users. So you've got Chrome, Search, YouTube, Maps, Gmail, Android. What else am I missing? Play Store must be on there somewhere. So what? Why do we have? What I'm going to be talking about today is these products with over 1 billion users every day not only provide a tremendous amount of information to people, they also collect and bring in a tremendous amount of information. And what we're going to be talking a little bit today is how that information that comes in across the platform, how we can work together to provide, I'm not going to say magical experiences for our customers, but we can provide some pretty terrific experiences that are really kind of going well beyond sort of what we think about looking for web pages. All right, so the age of assistance. I appreciated the challenge. This is not something I'd spoken on before, so it's good to kind of brush up on something. This is for real. So if you've spoken with people at Google over the last few years, you've heard mobile's important, right? You don't hear so much about mobile. We really think that the device that this woman's holding, it's pretty amazing, right? It is a supercomputer, and Eric Schmidt has been talking about that for a while. It is connected to the cloud, and what I think is truly remarkable is the way our lives have reorganized around them. I have mixed feelings about, which we can talk about over wine, a glass of beer, but the fact is we are reorganizing our lives around it, and consumers and consumer behavior is completely changed, driven by, it's not the devices, it's, for lack of a better word, I think it's power is what we're talking about, and it's knowledge, and consumers are empowered. Consumers, it's not the amount of information that they have access to, but it's sort of around their expectations, what they can do. So this age of assistance, I mean, if you look at it, people, what should I eat? How am I going to get there? Where am I going to buy this? What time do I need to be there? I'm going to speak to this device. How do I get there? These things are all going on, and we're not even thinking about it with the device. And I think Google's product suites are across, kind of all of these moments. So this assistant is not a product. It's not Google Assistant telling you to do this or that. It's the way people are interacting with the platform, and that's sort of the assisted life. And what I want to give a view into today is how we think we could work together to better connect sort of with what these consumers expect and the possibilities and how we can actually help our customers and our collective advertisers benefit. The world's getting really crazy. This is a picture of one of my colleagues' sons, and this is Tammy's son. And Tammy, she's a little bit, she's not wacko, but she's kind of one of these intense people that you meet, and she's, among many things, she's a mom. And she was telling me a story. Does anyone in this room know what a sippy cup is? I don't know if that's an American thing. Is it British, European? A sippy cup, little kids drink out of a sippy cup. You can't spill it. You can't tip it over. It's pretty big. I had a sippy cup. My kids had sippy cups. But Tammy, before she bought the sippy cup, she looked it up online. She read blogs. She watched YouTube videos. Which sippy cup am I going to buy? Why? Where am I going to get it? She went to the store and tried them. Consumers, we all are getting pretty mad. It's insane, actually. And to see the search data coming in and to see what people are doing as they make any decision, and I think we see it. I mean, it's certainly not people sitting in an office at a desktop computer, right? I mean, it's as they're going through their day on all of these devices, they're living in this assisted moments. And let's see what we got here. It's people all over the world. And the thing that's driving them, three things that I want people to think about. These consumers today, they're curious. Yeah, Tammy wanted to know about the sippy cup, but they're demanding as well. She wanted the very, very best sippy cup that you could get, and they're impatient as well. She knew she wanted it, as soon as she found the one she wanted it right away. And I'm going to show you some data about what we're seeing on this behavior, because this is what we need to get right. This is what the people in the room need to get right to serve our customers, because they're already there. The consumers are there, and this is how they're living. And so our challenge as a group is, I'd love to see us do better than keep up with them. Can we get out ahead of them? I don't know. At this point, I still feel like we're playing catch up. But let's talk about curiosity. So people are curious. They want to know about everything. And I think one thing we see in the data, they really want to know about stuff they're going to buy. And I think this is a lot of behind the commercial success at Google on the advertising is the amount of of people's, their intent, their desire to know about things before they buy them. And it's weird because marketers traditionally could play a role where they got to decide how things were positioned. So this automobile, this is something, you're going to get information about. You're going to get the facts. You're going to see TV commercials. You're going to be influenced, and we're going to have a strategic plan for how you think about this automobile brand. But nobody, in all fairness, toothbrushes, I'm sure there's a lot of thought into the marketing of toothbrushes, but we saw search queries for what is the best toothbrush increase 100% over the past 2 years. So all my data is sort of a 2-year snapshot, 2015. But that's pretty crazy, right? Because we've had Google for a while, but the number of people searching for which is the best toothbrush doubled, right? That's a lot of people. Umbrellas? What's the best umbrella? I would say to you, who would think, right? But you all have seen yourself look for these things, right? This is how we think now. Olive oil? I get olive oil. Foodies are serious people. So best olive oil, I wasn't that surprised, 110%. Travel pillow? Give me a break. 300%, 3 times increase in which travel pillow is the best? And I do see lots of travel pillows in the airport stores. And I got to admit, I read a review of a techie travel. Anyways, my favorite is the shower curtains, though. The search queries for shower curtains doubling in the last 2 years. So what I think we're seeing going on here is the shift from marketers getting to decide what is it that's important to people and how are we going to position it to consumers. They're driving everything now. And if they want to find out which is the best toothbrush, which shower curtain, they're going to find out. And the challenge to this room is, how do you set up your clients? How do we set up our mutual customers for success in this environment? And the opportunity, it's terrific if you're selling umbrellas, shower curtains. But it's also really challenging because, again, back to these consumers, they're demanding as well, right? So, this is, they want, I'll give you some examples. They want you to know everything about them. Who they are, where they are, what they've been doing, what they care about, what they don't care about, who they're not. They want you to know all of that before you present anything to them. And an example is that we used to see people search, like they would say, I want to find a bookshop near me, right? Or I want to find where's the Macy's near me? We don't see near me anymore. People have just dropped it. They're like, of course. If I'm driving and I'm looking for pizza, of course I want a pizza that's near me. And I want one that's open now as well. And this is where our consumers are. And again, we see it in the behavior. They're not putting things near me. This one I like, where to buy. 85% increase in mobile searches for where to buy this best umbrella, right? So they want to know where they can get it, right? And again, a huge opportunity. And they're impatient. So back to this is our last challenge. Like when I want that pizza and I'm driving, I want to know that it's near me. I want to know that this place is open. And I mean, it's crazy. We just got in Singapore, actually. There's Amazon Prime Now or 4-hour delivery. And it is a radically different experience. And lots of our friends in China were seeing 1-hour delivery. And it's not just, I mean, it's really different, right, when you can get something in an hour. It's a step change. But watching the consumers' expectations, they want everything that they can get in 4 hours. They want everything brought to them. So we've seen in the last year a 2x increase in same-day shipping services. And people are learning, not only are they, do they want everything now, they're learning they can get everything at the last minute. So we've seen a 150% increase in search queries where the travel search is today and tonight. And I mean, I'm one of those victims. I need a flight, I need a hotel tonight, right? And people used to think you were crazy. Like if you walked into a hotel without a reservation, but this is where our consumers are now. And again, we see it. 3x increase in the last 2 years in open now. So 3 times as many people trying to find out if a business is open. I mean, that's a customer you want to reach, right? I mean, they're looking to buy something then and there. So again, we're seeing these consumers, you know them, right? They're curious, they want to know everything, they're demanding, and they're impatient. And, as marketers, this is our challenge to how do we kind of meet and stay up with these needs. I do think it's a reasonable point that this is not surprising if you've spent a lot of time with other people, with our species, especially kids, but curious, demanding, and patient. I never thought about that, how much that sounds like a little kid. But it is human nature. And I think I'm not surprised. Like, this is not technology driving this. It is not, the software. It's not the phone. It's not, these are humans. Now we're giving them these options and they're demanding it, but we're seeing some strange behavior. I don't know if you call it strange, but what we see, 70% of voice searches this year, people are searching, basically, they're talking to their phone in a natural voice. Okay, Google, find me. People are speaking in a natural voice to their devices, and you've seen this, and we're watching ourselves all change. But the challenge, I think, here for marketers is that consumers want to interact with businesses. They want to have a good, natural, organic experience with a business. They want to feel like a business is reliable, easy to talk to, had the information they needed. These are the words they're using before they've ever spoken to anyone or walked into a store. The experience that they want to have with brands is a warm experience. And again, this is this age of assistance. But again, we're seeing it. Show me the recipe for homemade pancakes. I find myself with Google Home saying, please, I don't know why, it was how I was raised. Show me the recipe for pancakes, please. And it feels nice, right? But again, businesses, how do we set up businesses, right? So that they are, when people look for them and they're having an experience where they go away saying, that's a business that's a business I can trust. That's a business that's reliable. That's a business where I feel like I can have a good experience before they've even talked to anyone. And I think the other challenge for us as a group, it's easy to kind of get this wrong, and I think and see all these devices, whether it's YouTube, Android, Google Home, Play, to see all of these as channels that we can blast messages out to. Great. There's 1,000 different ways that I can blast messages at this consumer. But this is not what they want. It's not what they're looking for. They want what they want it now, and they want to have a warm human experience while they're doing it. They want to have a good experience. So we got to be careful with all these channels, because again, if we jump in and we just start blasting through all these channels, messages that are not consistent with what people are looking for or the experience they want, or not getting, if I get a pizza place and it's not near me or it's not open, that's a crappy experience, right? And I'm unhappy. And that's where these consumers are. So we're spending a lot of time working with our partners around the world and thinking about, what is it we can do to get this experience right? How do we get the marketing right in the age of assistance to meet these demanding, impatient, and curious consumers? 3 things that I'd like everyone to think about today. I'll try to give you some information. We need to close the loop. We need to build up audience intent. And we need to rethink businesses, brands, however you want to look at it, the experience to match the pace and mindset of where these consumers are. All right, so close the loop. What are we talking about here? This one I like. This one's actually really simple. This one is we need to get out of marketing KPIs. We've got to stop thinking about the marketing's over here and it's got its own world and its own set of metrics and its own thing, and the business is over here, right? This woman is walking into an auto dealer, right? So what is it they want? Do they want her to test drive a car? Do they want her to buy a car? We got to be really clear. They certainly don't want, they don't want impressions. They don't want foot traffic. They don't want clicks. And this was good. We got a room full. This was a typical, going out and sitting down with an organization. And if you get the people in the room together, you get a cross-functional group, and you say to them, what are your KPIs? What is your main business objective? You're going to end up with 30 different objectives from 30 different people in the room, right? And this is the pin the tail on the donkey game. And you literally, how do you as a marketer, they have 30 different objectives. How do you kind of bring it together? And I think that's the challenge. That's the work that needs to be done, is to work with a cross-functional group to say, what is it that your business is trying to do? Do you want people to walk into your store? Do you want more phone calls? Do you want more visitors to your website? Do you want more downloads of your app? But have that discussion to help. If you're talking about the technology and it's marketing, blah, 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 nobody wins in that situation, right? But if we are clarifying what those businesses need and what are their objectives and helping them sort through that. Uh-oh. Let me guess where this is going. Ooh. Next slide, is that possible? Thank you. Might get out to the temples a little earlier. Where is this going? This is going to get into, thank you so much. Beautiful. Let's see if this works now. Great. Okay, let me give you a real-world example of what I'm talking about. Target. Target, a big retailer in the U.S., right? Last time I was working with them, they got a group that's running their online store, right? They got store managers, they got regions of stores, and they got super regions of stores. People don't do a very good job of talking to each other. And the stores used to see the online shoppers as a threat, actually. And, the online store is kicking butt. My store is not doing very well. We worked closely with Target, and they basically figured out that 1 in 3 people who click on their mobile site end up in the store. And I think more importantly, for people that just walked into the store versus people who searched and then came into the store, the people who searched and then called and then came into the store, omni-channel, bought 3x those who just called or just walked in, right? So Target spent a lot of time figuring this out. How could they get organized so when people had come in, they knew that everyone coming into the store had probably been to their website, probably in their car on their way over. And how can they provide a great experience and get set up structurally to support that customer? Can we have the next slide? Thanks, Elsa. It's probably doing some sort of animation or something. Cool, thank you. Building your audience from intent up. So where do we start, right? And this one's simple, right? We all know if you start with the customer. Let's start with the user. What is it that the user wants? Sonos. I like this story. So are people familiar with Sonos? Anybody have one? Oh, they're beautiful. Like, if you don't have them, watch out, because you buy them one at a time, and then you want one in every room once you start. And the first time it's like $300. That's not too bad. But then your house fills up with them. It's a very smart business. So Sonos is a wireless speaker. And one of the things they figured out is that people buy new music systems when they've got a major change in their life. So they graduate from college. They get married. They, move. Anyway, so this was Sonos's insight, and working together with Google, they basically figured out how to show YouTube ads at the moment when people were going through life changes. And so if you look across the platform, so if you look at what we might know from Google Maps or from YouTube or from Android or from Gmail, we can help advertisers know that someone is going through that moment when their life is changing. And by Sonos showing their ad at these right points, they saw a 37% lift in purchase intent and a 420% increase in people searching for Sonos, just by showing the ads only to people that were going through these life changes. And again, this is the assistance, right? Because we have more signals at Google than anyone else. The larger audience, more signals, but it doesn't really matter if we don't put these signals together in a way that matters. So Sonos said, help us reach people when they're getting out of school, moving, or getting married. And the results of that was a huge lift in their ad campaigns. And the last thing is we got to keep up. We really got to make sure that our businesses we work with, that their experience, that it matches the pace and mindset of today's consumers. You guys have heard this to death. 53% of website visits and carts are abandoned. A mobile site takes longer than 3 seconds to load. Most websites at Google take more than 3 seconds to load, right? Like, we got to get this right because we're not keeping up. They're searching, they get there, it doesn't happen fast enough, they leave. 24 seconds. So this is a collective problem we have, right? We're providing a world where the websites take 24 seconds to load. Consumers, if they don't load in 3 seconds, are gone. So, we've got to fix this. People that have fixed this are seeing terrific results. Domino's Pizza, I was talking about pizza earlier. It's incredible how, forget the 15 ways to order a Domino's pizza. I mean, I think that's cool, but they were really big. I remember when Domino's got their online ordering set up, right? And it had something like 13 or 14 steps to order a pizza. Who are you? Where do you live? What's your phone number? What size pizza do you want? What do you want on it? Right? And it was still pretty cool. Hey, I can go online and you fill out these steps. Does anyone know how many steps it takes to order a Domino's pizza today in Santa Monica? Yes, Charles? Chicago? 1. Yeah, I think that the brochure, they like to say 0. I think you're probably right. You got to open the app. Yeah, you got to open the app. That counts. I'm with you, Charles. That's good. 1. You open the app. I don't know if you've seen this. You open the Domino's app, a timer starts. If you don't do anything before the timer counts down from 60, the pizza is on its way to your house. So we've gone pretty fast from, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. People don't want to, where do you live? What's your phone number? What kind of pizza they want? They expect you to know that, and Domino's has done it. And this is madness. 60%. Think about how easy it is to call and order a pizza on the phone, right? 60% of Domino's orders in the last year were online. 60% of orders are online. Yes, more than half from mobile. Okay, I got that right. But that's pretty crazy. And the no steps. You do nothing. 1 step, Charles. You order it, and the pizza's coming. So it is possible to get this right. I think Domino's did a really, really, really good job. This is going to get, for those of you who work deep with AdWords, I apologize if this is going to get a little techy. I don't know that much, so don't worry. But what is Google doing to try to help? This is, what are we doing? In addition, we've got the platform out there where consumers are going out and, we're trying to keep people entertained, make sure they can find the information that they're looking for, that things go fast. We're also trying to help our advertisers do well, though, and this is where you're going to start to see the machine learning and kind of the benefits of a very large machine and a lot of processing and a lot of smart people. But we're getting better with things around smart bidding, targeting, ad formats, and attribution. And we're starting to take things that have been pain points with our advertising, and they're getting easy and getting easier. But that's certainly where we're going. And for people who like things the way they are, we also tend to leave manual options. But smart bidding is using a lot of machine learning, and it's basically the system is optimizing ads, and we're basically increasing CPAs and return on ad spend, and we're allowing advertisers to specify the goals that they want, and rather than manually trying to get the ads right, we're increasingly using our own automation, our own machine learning to get the ad right, and that makes sense. Enhanced CPCs, we're adjusting the max CPC bids based on auction time signals for advertisers who want more control. So we've got a very large audience of users. We recognize that. What can you expect from us in 2018? More signals, new algorithms to make smart bidding even more powerful. So hopefully you can spend more time understanding these customers' needs and less time, getting the ads set up to work. Making sure that businesses have the relevant audiences, so targeting, remarketing is huge. It works. It's very effective. A remarketing list for search ads, similar audience, customer match. When you watch a YouTube video, you get added to whoever made that video. There's a list, right? And you can say, I want my ad to show to people that are like this. And you can imagine there's billions of YouTube videos. They're all being watched all day. The amount of information from all that, and harnessing that information to be able to say, I want to reach people that look like this. Dynamic search ads, where the machine and the algorithms fill in some of the search ad, based on a whole lot of factors. 5 different machine learning modules to understand web content and target your ads. We're seeing increases of 10% on the same ROI. We're reaching a 10% larger audience for the same spend using machine learning and the dynamic search ads. So I think in 2018, what you can expect from us is full parity across the platform, meaning we're actually pulling in all the signals from all the products into one single place where we can actually use them to say, what do we know from Maps, from YouTube, from Android, from Play Store, from Gmail, from Search, all in one place so that advertisers can benefit from that information, and getting the broad matches smarter. And we're investigating, we're curious about fully automatic targeting. There's a lot of, we can see where it's going in the long run. Again, we're going to keep people so you have your options if you like to do it. But really, when you look at this, the algorithms, if they're going to do a better job and they're going to deliver better ROI and they're going to deliver better results, that's really the investments Google's making. And that's where we need our partners to really spend more time understanding the business needs and connecting in, and then we should let the algorithms do the heavy lifting on getting the ad format right and showing it at the right place at the right time. Ad formats are really important. We can serve the best ads, but only if we have a choice. So we need, for those of you who are providing Google solutions, we need 3 ads per ad group. We need to be able to choose among multiple options. We need extensions, phone numbers, locations, so we can turn them on at the right time. Obviously, where we're going, it'd be great if we could pull this information from somewhere else. And you're going to see lots of new experiments in 2018 with more visual extensions here in Asia. We hear that beyond every day. We want more images. We want visual site links. We're seeing more and more structured data. And I think you'll continue to see, right now we still have to do a lot of the heavy lifting to have the right ads, but I think that should get easier and easier as we go. Something very cool we launched this year are promotion extensions. This actually allows you to add a promotion to any customer's ad without changing anything else about the ad. And you'll see things like that little Black Friday and that little tag there, like you get tag, big deal, right? The CPCs go through the roof with these kinds of things. So it makes it very easy for advertisers to keep track of, okay, we're running the ad campaign. This Friday, we're going to do a sale, and no need to change the ad campaign. Just add the promotion, and these things are getting easier to do. I'm not going to talk a lot about attribution because I don't know a lot about it. It's important. People want to know what's working and what's not working. And what I see a lot of inside the organization, I see customers, I see our larger customers, I see our larger partners, and I see the organization moving away from things that don't matter to advertisers like CPCs and impressions. And I'm hearing a lot more talk of lifetime value. I'm seeing advertisers in markets, Japan, Australia, I'm seeing advertisers happily spend $150 per CPC because they know the lifetime value. These are banks. They know the lifetime value is $1,400. And so all sorts of, we're just seeing people begin, when you get attribution right, last click is not correct. Our big, so for 2018, what you can expect are much better attribution solutions that work across marketing channels. We hear that. We know your customers are using multiple channels. They're on social networks. They're using Google. And so we need simple solutions that work across the channels. We hear that. I expect to continue to see a lot of attribution has to get simpler. It can't be about last click. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for our customers and our partners as we get this right, because people will happily spend more if they know that the ROI is there. So, and on that note, here's a picture of happy people.
Great, thank you.
That's it. Thank you very much, Phil.
Yeah, we're a little tight on time, but is there a quick? No? Okay.
Talk
we
about
did have one.
anything
Okay,
except
we got
for
one here.
taxes or China.
Hi, really great presentation. I just had one quick question. It seems, especially in the last couple slides you presented, that a lot of the new features that Google is looking into or launching, they actually have a tendency to sort of compete with many services that are already being offered by a lot of SEM agencies across the board, and especially with SMBs who are not very knowledgeable about running AdWords. Is this something that you're actively doing to become a sort of a replacement for these agencies, or how do you see that?
So I think the question is that a lot of the automation that we're building into the platform are currently being done by by partners or third parties, and is that deliberate? So I've never heard any discussion about, is it deliberate in terms of let's do this? There is a consistent focus on making things easier for the end user, again, whether that's the advertiser or a consumer. So I think it falls more along that journey than any, none of us can stop, and so we all kind of got to keep staying ahead. So I think it's more that than anything deliberate.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I would look forward to how can we keep our partners moving on in the value chain as well. So, I think one of the places we've struggled is how do we work together to make sure we're all getting the solution right for the end advertiser? And it's a great discussion to have.
Yeah.
Good question. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to have to end it there, I'm afraid.
Yep.
I'll take the baton.
We'll continue
Thank you
over.
very much.
Bye. Thanks, Charles.
You'll be around tonight and tomorrow, right? So if you want to go
dinner in a temple, you said?
Pardon?
Dinner in a temple?
Yeah, you're going to hang out.
I won't miss that.
Okay,
That's
so
good,
if you want to catch him later, he'll be around. So great, thank you. So.